Thanks very much. It's just a pleasure to be here today, and especially I'm wearing a hat, the Minister of State for the Olympics, and that's why I'm here today. But this is something that means a lot to me because I have been involved with wearing one of my other hats. I've been involved in sustainability and building green buildings, and Thomas and I met before when we were given, I was CEO of the BC Cancer Foundation, and we were given a LEED Gold for our cancer research centre that we built. And at that time it was a very big deal. When we first started building, it didn't look like it was just brand new. There was a LEED US and it had just come to Canada, and our guys said, you know what, let's try it. We're a cancer research centre. I think we should do this. And we debated because it's a cost, and you sort of go, is it worth the cost? Should we do this? Absolutely. And it was for cancer research. There was no question we were going to do it, and we did it. And I tell you, it was great for our donors who contributed to the building, but it was also a wonderful experience for us, and it's been a huge success for the Cancer Research Centre because a lot of costs have been decreased because of using doing what we did. And I'll be happy to say, we went for the LEED Silver and we got the LEED Gold. So it's very exciting, especially in this portfolio, for me to now say we got a gold. I want to thank Canada Green Building Council and BC Hydro for their invitation today. And I think one of the things that we've tried to do as the province with the Olympic Games was to make sure that we did lead the way in sustainability. You can never do enough, and you have to keep trying. But if you don't try for as much as you can, you don't get there. And that's one of the things that the Premier and the rest made it very clear that that's what we were going to do. Wherever possible, let's do green. And so these games are truly unprecedented in the way that they are looking at various things and how to make things greener than they can be. And it's about the long-term legacies of tomorrow as much as it is about the benefits today. And we're very proud of our achievements. Many Olympic firsts that demonstrate our commitment are, for instance, it's the first Olympic Games to utilize the LEED design. It's also the first to strive for carbon neutrality with an official supplier of carbon offsets, travel and accommodation of close to 7,000 athletes, coaches, and officials. We're working with that to make sure we have an offset as part of the Games' direct carbon footprint. And also there's other various sponsors that we are working with, Olympic partners, Coca-Cola and RBC, who have joined in this mission. So in all, these games have around 25 Olympic partnerships that have joined forces to make sure that we can have achieve sustainable gains. We're looking at various other ways that we can look to reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and the province has taken it on. In fact, we do have a climate control action committee that reports to the Premier, and it's really looking at a lot of different ways that we can do this and how we can change how we look at building in the future. We have an immediate and measurable effect on greenhouse gas emissions by doing various things. For instance, every new building in BC must now meet new standards in energy and water efficiency. And we're going to continue to work on that and work with the various entities like the Canada Green Building Council. Thank you. My goodness, I was going to call you something, society. No, council. To make sure that we do as much as we can and work closely with BC Hydro. We're still looking at various ways that we can do, for instance, the hydrogen fuel cell buses in Whistler. That's a big one, and I think, Ken, we may talk about that. But we're trying to mark a new beginning in the era of zero-emission public transit. And British Columbia is really spearheading this technology. And you may have all noticed the Olympic rings out on Cole Harbour, and that's another new addition, and they're recently been renovated with this technology, fuel cell technology, so we're very excited about that. In 3 days, the world is going to be watching us, watching the province. And we have an opportunity here to really showcase what it is we do well and what it is that we're trying to do even better. And it's the ability to look at the way we build buildings, to look at the way that we do other things with respect to looking after the environment. And I think that's really, really a wonderful thing that we can do. We can learn from others around the world, see what they do, but I think it's really important that we as a province also demonstrate our leadership in this area. So I'm very pleased to be here, and I'm very pleased to be able to see you again, and look forward to doing more projects together. Thank you.
So this is an award from Canada Green Building Council, recognize the province of BC for the commitment and to achieving LEED certification on the convention center. And the BC Showcase building, actually, that we're just going to have the reception in just half an hour from now. And just for overall setting the policy to go to LEED certification in the first place. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And now our next speaker, Linda Cody, Vice President for Sustainability for VANOC, please.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Thomas, and thank you, BC Hydro, the Canada Green Building Council, for putting on this event and providing this recognition. Recognition is always great to receive, but I know I can speak for all of our 2010 venue partners when I say that we built green buildings because doing so, first and foremost, made good business sense. And because at the end of the day, buildings that use less energy and water and produce less pollution and waste are buildings with lower long-term operating costs and buildings that have the wherewithal and durability to meet the needs of communities that use them for decades to come. The City of Vancouver and the Resort Municipality of Whistler, of course, went even further than building green buildings. They also incorporated development of new community energy systems based on recovering and recycling energy and waste heat from nearby waste systems, which was also a real milestone in the construction program for the Games. And thanks to our power supplier and sponsor, BC Hydro, we can stand in front of the world this week and last week at the main media center down the street here and at the International Broadcast Center and announce that 100% of the electrical power sourced from the grid for use in 2010 venues and villages comes from renewable sources. And that is definitely an Olympic first. And as the Minister mentioned, our performance on green buildings and our use of renewable power has also enabled us to deliver a very strong performance on managing the climate impact of our Games, first and foremost by reducing carbon emissions. Just by way of context, I came across this comparison the other night. The 2002 Salt Lake Winter Games emitted 248,000 tons of carbon over the 17 days of the Games themselves. And the Vancouver 2010 Games, if we've got our forecast numbers correct, are on track to emit about 118,000 tons of carbon over a 7-year period since we won the bid through till after the Paralympics are concluded. So 248,000 tons over 17 days, 118,000 tons over 7 years. Now, I know some of that has to do with the difference in what's available in terms of generated power, but still it shows the tremendous reductions that have occurred over the course of the last 7 years and what the partners here have been able to accomplish. This is because the Government of BC, the City of Vancouver, and the Resort Municipality of Whistler all have very ambitious climate change targets and are committed themselves to running carbon neutral operations. So on the VANOC side, that inspired us to be aggressive about our climate goals. We had no choice. We estimate that our carbon footprint will be a minimum of 15% less than it would have been had we not incorporated green practices and technologies into our programs and operations. That's 15%, not a regulated target, achievable based on a business case. So I think that's a real message of hope when people were in Copenhagen and not able to agree on regulated targets. 15% doable in this part of the world, just with some planning and intention and a good business case analysis.